Hi, I'm Lindsay Bennett, and today I am going to shock you with the $2 million gap in revenue cycle careers. We'll take a look at the math behind it, and I'll show you an example. But the bottom line is that if you are staying stuck in a revenue cycle job like billing or a billing supervisor, and you're staying there for years and you're not moving up and strategically advancing your career, then over the lifetime of a 25-year or even a 30-year career, you're leaving more than $2 million on the table. That is $2 million that you could use or your family could use. Think of all the things that you could do with that. But that is actually the difference between the salaries when you take into account the annual raises, the incentive compensation, the retirement benefits, all the things that come with moving up to director and above. So if you're just staying in a comfortable area, not challenging yourself and not moving up over the years, that's adding up to millions that you're not taking home to your family. So today I'm going to show you the math behind that, and then we're going to talk about how to fix it right now today.
Before we look at the numbers, I just want to preface this by saying that the numbers that we're going to look at are from just a Google search on average or median salaries for different roles within revenue cycle. Obviously, there's going to be a very big difference if you are one employee in a solo physician practice in Mississippi versus if you are working for a large health system in New York City or in California or somewhere different. So there are regional differences. There are big differences between small providers and large health systems. But to show you this example, we're just taking national averages here just to illustrate my point. So person A and person B are working for the same employer. They are both starting out as billing and collections representatives, making $45,000 a year. And over here on the right, you see their annual income difference, which is zero because they're making the same thing. Then something happens in year four. In year four, person B gets promoted to being a billing and collections team lead. And with that, she gets a raise. So now person A has been making 3% more each year with just annual increases. And person B is now making $8,827 more per year. Then in year six, person B keeps leveling up her skill set. She's getting noticed. She gets promoted to billing and collections supervisor. So now she's making $19,833 more than her colleague, who is still a billing and collections representative. And cumulatively, over the last 6 years, when you tally it all up, she has earned $37,752 more than her colleague. In year eight, she gets promoted again to being a revenue cycle manager. So now she's making $90,000 while her colleague is making $55,344. Around year 11, person A, after 10 years of staying in the same role, has now moved up to supervisor and gotten a raise. Meanwhile, person B is at the manager level. And so person A hangs out in this supervisor role for another 10 years. Meanwhile, person B continues to move up, and in year 13, she becomes a director. And that's a big deal because typically at the director level is where you start seeing things like performance-based bonuses and other additional forms of compensation that are usually available at that level and higher. So now, in addition to getting the bigger director salary, she's also getting bonuses. And so as you can see, she's now making $78,615 more than her colleague who started at the same place that she did. And cumulatively, so over the last 13 years, person B has now earned almost $300,000 more than her peer. And this continues. So person A finally gets promoted to manager after 20 years of, hanging out at the lower levels there. And person B stays at the director level for about 5 years and then becomes a senior director and then eventually a vice president and eventually moves up into an executive role. And after 25 years of this, person A, all of their earnings for all 25 years tallied up are $1.8 million. Person B, their earnings for the last 25 years are $3.9 million. And so this is key. This is where the difference is. So over a 25-year career, person B has earned over $2 million more than her colleague, who again started off at the same place that she did. And the difference is that one person has leveled up their skills, they've kept learning, they've aggressively moved up, they've been visible, they've gotten promoted, whereas the other person is just, staying comfortable in their role, not really pushing the envelope. But that difference is $2 million more in earnings over their career. Before we look at the numbers.
Now you know. And now you're probably thinking, holy smokes, Lindsay, I didn't know I was leaving $2 million on the table and I want to fix it right now. So I've put together a guide for you. If you go down to the description, there is a free career guide that goes through different career ladders and how you can move up from wherever you are right now today, whether you're a biller, a manager, a coder, whatever your career is, it's going to tell you the steps to move up to six-figure and multi-six-figure careers so that you can close that gap and so that you're not leaving $2 million or more on the table.